Hey everyone, this is Esme. We had some tech issues and some shoddy internet, but we got it fixed midway of the show, so please bear with us if there's some crackling mics and stuff like that. We have some new hosts on, so we had some troubleshooting to do, but we got it taken care of. So please and thank you in advance. Enjoy. All right, who wanted to intro the show? The new guy? All right, sounds great.
Wait, which new guy?
We always taught you. Well, Johnny's been on the show with us a couple times as in a sidecar.
But the new guy.
You, sir, are the fresh new guy.
Fresh meat.
Yeah.
Well, how do you want me to intro it then?
Well, what you're gonna do is
so
just read
pressure.
right up here, right up at the top. We have everything out for you. Yep, that's all you gotta do.
I'm good at that.
Put your pizzazz in with it, however you want, but everything is right there. So we don't freak anybody out. Like, if we're gonna put you on the spot, we're gonna give you something.
Okay, so I put this thing on voice detection. Is it gonna work, or am I making too much noise, like when I'm not talking, or
as long as you don't fart, burp, or cough loudly? But then if you do, I'll just leave it in anyway. So I guess it's a trade-off.
Then we'll figure out a popular song to play along with.
I distinctly remember last week while re-listening to the recording, hearing somebody ripping ass into the mic, and it was fantastic.
But did you really? Somebody really fart into the mic?
Well, probably not into it, but their mic picked it up.
That was probably like, because I was a pusher talk, and I'm a girl, we don't fart. And
yeah. Women don't fart, neither blow the nose.
I don't know if Cricket was with us last week. No, he wasn't. I blame Fo, because he always does weird stuff like that.
I can't even remember who was talking, but it was funny.
It's Fo. That's all I'm trying to do. He's not here. So it was him.
It was all the Fo.
It was Fo. All the flatulence goes to Fo. Okay. Alrighty, so let me know if you guys are ready. Are you ready, Air? You can say it in whatever voice you want, however you feel like saying it. It's up to you. It's your creative space. You can go for it.
On.
I will count to 3, and then I will hit the... is somebody...
Sexual healing.
So is the thing gonna play? Like...
Yeah, you're gonna hear it. I have a soundboard, so you'll hear all the stuff. So I'm
and then when it's over, I start talking. Okay.
Alright. I'm going to count to 3 and hit the intro, and then when the intro finishes, then you do your thing. And if we have to do it again, it wouldn't be the first time.
Okay.
Alright, 1, 2, 3, intro!
I'm wearing my birthday suit, and I got a luscious blonde wig on.
Oh shit, I'm eating freaking narco berries now. I am not doing myself any favor.
Quite a bit off more than I can chew here.
There's a bad one in this bunch. You guys want me to teach you about mushrooms?
I am so close to death. I got a broken leg.
The only way that you survive is by being smarter than some of the other people.
What the heck? What is digging holes in the ground? It's digging holes in the ground.
Fresh spawns, veteran tamers, and all survivors in between. We'd like to welcome you to RatedArk, the Ark Survival Evolved podcast.
By the way, this is explicit.
Welcome, survivors, new and old, to this episode of RatedArk, the Ark Survival Evolved podcast. Today is May 4th, 2018. We are a CRR Gaming Group hosted podcast, so that means the voices can change each week, but the roundtable discussion will always be about Ark. We have many ways you can contact us to share feedback, tips, or adventures. You can reach the show by emailing ratedark@gmail.com. You can tweet us at ratedark on Twitter. You can also grab the RSS feed, get our show notes at www.ratedark.com, and apply to join us in-game at www.crossrealmrebellion.com. So yeah, let's introduce everybody tonight. I'm new on the show today. Air Dubaii is my handle, so hello everybody. Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Air Dubaii.
Thanks.
Roll with a permanent goon clicker.
Like we do.
Yeah.
We threw him right up in there.
Toss me to the fire. So yeah.
And I'm Esmeralda Sky, and beneath me in TeamSpeak is Mr.
Balloon. Hello, everybody.
Hello, Mr. Falloon is...
Goon!
And then bringing up the the two, we got two cabooses? Sure, why not? We have Mr.
Baloo.
And Mr. Wrench has now hopped out of the sidecar and has hopped into one of the cabooses, and he's joining us on his new fandangled, shiny, fresh PC.
That's right. Hello.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I'm so jealous.
And thank you for hopping in, too. Mr. Foe got ambushed, he said, with his in-laws right when he walked in from work, so he couldn't join us tonight because they're visiting. But Mr. Wrench was here to stand in, so that's awesome.
It's an upgrade.
Ooh. Yeah, you did get quite an upgrade, didn't you?
No, I'm talking about you guys did, getting me instead of Foe.
It's a double upgrade then, right? You get him. Get him, J. Rent. Get him, Mr. Rent.
Oh my god.
All right, so that's going to take us into Loot Drop.
Shout, let it all out. These are the shout-outs we can't live without. Oh yeah, come on, yeah. RatedArk's talking to you, you're talking to us. Yeah, time for shout-outs.
All right, I wanted to give a shout-out to Cory at Pattersc1986. We just got this tweet in after we got done recording last week, so I felt really bad. I'm like, we didn't get Cory's loot drop shout out, but we got you this week, Cory. Thank you so much for taking the time and hitting us up on Twitter at RatedArk. And he said, keep up the good work, RatedArk. Your podcast really helps, especially the mid to late game stuff. Having played the game for hundreds of hours myself and learning more advanced techniques to conquer the Ark, your tips and tricks definitely add a bunch of value to the experience. So thank you very much. That's why we do what we do, is because we have fun sharing what we learn, because there's so much stuff. It's so hard to learn everything. That's for sure. And we wanted to, and I didn't know Johnny was going to be here, man, but I have you in the show notes. I was going to say welcome to the PC Arc Life, and to Mr. Johnny Rich, and congratulations to CRR member, oh man, he's the daddy to a new baby girl.
Congrats.
Yay! And thank you, by the way. I'm going to tell you, it's quite an experience going from the PlayStation to PC on Arc. It is different.
How has it
the other
been
way
so far? Yeah, because Falloon did it the other way. So you guys are yinning and yanging over there.
The biggest challenge for me is moving from the radio menus to like actually just pressing a button on the keyboard and remembering what button does what.
Oh, okay.
That's funny because I could say the same thing going to PS4, only just whatever you say, it's the opposite.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
That and looking around with a mouse, it's so much more precise but more sensitive.
Yeah, I miss that.
And like because the joysticks on the PlayStation, you know, it's just different. It's just really different.
Yeah, what gets me is like when I pull up my spyglass, it moves so slow. I'm like, okay, so I got to put my spyglass away, kind of re-zero in, pick it back up. It's gone. Got to put my spyglass down.
Oh yeah.
I always feel like you're chasing what you're trying to look at too.
But I think there's some sensitivity settings, but you know, it makes the sensitivity, and at least from my point of view, a little bit overdone when you don't have the spyglass out. Anyway,
kind of the same movement from my Xbox to PC too, because my Xbox likes to be really stupid and just like constantly turn me to the right whenever I walk straight. I don't understand why it does that, but either way, everything on PC is just so much easier, and you don't have to like play with different menus and everything, and it's just made for PC.
Absolutely.
All right, I think it's time to go and do Fresh from the Forge.
Fresh from the
All right. Every time I think that they don't have news, we get slammed. Like they're like, oh, we haven't posted anything in a couple days, and then it's like boom, 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 boom. All kinds of stuff happens. So we have all broken everything up to share it with everyone. Latest tweet came out from Zenro at Zenro on Twitter. He's the mod guy. Based on community feedback, he says he has made some changes to the mod tutorial contests. Submissions will now be open for a full month, and the awards have been doubled. This applies to the current contest too. So, I have the link to his tweet in the show notes, and he has the link to his post in his tweet. So meta. There you go. Find it. And then I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Johnny Wrench, who's going to be telling you guys about the latest Community Crunch 129.
So Community Crunch 129, new servers, upcoming stream, and wildcard workshop. It says, hey survivors, welcome to the latest edition of the Community Crunch. We have upcoming new servers. Specialty servers are alternate game modes for ARK that last for a short period of time. Each new theme will bring on a new set of challenges different from that of servers currently available. However, these seasonal servers will wipe and change theme after a determined period of time. We're looking for input from you today. We've set up a thread, and we'd appreciate if you could drop your suggestions into the separate thread below. Changes will revolve around edits that can be made to the existing configuration. These types of changes can include many things like tribe or alliance size, anything related to dino stats, and taming, server rates, etc. If you have a game mode that you think would be fun to play, be sure to leave your comment in the thread.
And I was wondering, what kind of game modes would you guys like to see as an option?
And this is for that temporary server, right? The one that keeps getting wiped every month or something like that?
Yeah, that's what it looks like it says. Yeah, it says that it would be wiped after a predetermined period of time. So, I would like to see something kind of like where you try to inhabit as much of the map as possible. Like your tribe and alliance tries to take over as much of the map as possible. You know, like kind of like was it Risk? Yeah, like Risk. That would be cool.
Picturing it when you were describing it.
Maybe the more zones you claim, the weaker you get. So you have to have more defenses.
Ah. I was kind of thinking, we were already thinking about when they tweeted out that, what is your favorite dino? I was instantly thinking, oh, that would be an interesting game mode where you could only have one tame per person at a time. Like, that. Yeah. I thought that would make it kind of interesting. Like, you can only ride that one tame that's your dino. Like, it's yours. Like, you couldn't even hop on your buddies, and you can't invite 20 people to have 20 dinos. Like, that is your dinosaur. So, so then in the tribe, you would have to be active, like, oh, so-and-so has a Therizinosaurus. We need that, they're going to have to go and gather the fiber. So every person would have their specialty dino, kind of like in a raid.
Wow.
I thought that would be kind of interesting. That would make a lot of things viable, and that would make people have to have tribe members and bring people in to kind of share for that added benefit, I guess. That would be an interesting game mode. I can't say that I would probably like it, but it would be interesting.
True.
They should do a water world.
It would be a challenge. They should do what?
A water world, yeah.
A water world.
Oh, water world. So cool.
Where it's nothing but rafts and underwater bases. Just have them open for everybody.
How would you get your resources? Everything would have to just be underwater.
Underwater? Just have a bunch of shallow water.
Just fill the entire map. It'd be like the sunken island. Just drop the island to the bottom. And
that would be cool.
Every map that you play on just get pushed down to the bottom. Yeah, that would be hilarious.
And I'm saying I would like to see something that was quite the opposite, where it was more like Mad Max and there's no water.
More like Scorched Earth.
Well,
I mean like more extreme than Scorched Earth.
Yeah.
Where you have to just hit up the water nodes in order to get some drink.
Yeah, something like that would be pretty cool.
I'm trying to think of another. Dagoon, do you have any ideas for a server kind of that you would want to see?
I'd like to see one with a bunch of just building mods that you can, not building mods, but something they could use for building, just to make it awesome buildings for a short period of time. To see what kind of things people could come up with.
Yeah, I would. It would be really cool if they could do that. I wonder, I feel like they're doing this to kind of, put some new. I feel like if they do add any things like this, it's just going to be like how they did with the no tame servers and stuff like that. Like, they're going to probably use things that they already have at their disposal. But I think that would be cool if they just did it I guess that would be kind of like a no tame bug, but have more options. But I feel like if people saw a really cool building kind of a server, they'd be like, why can't we have this all the time? Because that's what I feel like. Why do we have to have snap issues, and you put a ceiling down and it goes beneath you, or you put a floor down and it flies above your head, it's all weird and wonky.
But that might be
bunch of new pieces too. You know,
Yeah.
different corners and different.
Or an all nighttime server like Luminen that likes to do.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we already have that. It's Aberration.
There's still but just no light. There's at least some daytime or some glow. Like it does not seem to be that dark all the time.
Well, I've got a classic balloon suggestion. How about, because it basically is short-lived server, right? So how about you get 2 tribes, or 3, it doesn't matter, just some small number, and you've got the 30 days or whatever this time period is before it wipes to get built up enough to go kill like an alpha level boss, and like the first tribe that kills the alpha level boss wins.
That would be cool. That would be really
I would
cool.
definitely be interested in that.
Yeah.
That's
Put
my
some
favorite
more
part
of an
the game.
incentive.
Because there's a lot that goes along with it, you know. I mean, if you want it to happen quick, let's say that you and another tribe are going in at the same time. If you had imprinted dinos, you're probably gonna kill the boss faster. So
Right.
you know.
All these different factors.
Right, and
that
just using the
would make
different
you that
dinos
edge.
for, like, let's say one tribe doesn't, there's 2 tribes, one doesn't take a UD or something, and the other one does. And so they got their damage buff and, you know, and things like that. You know, it just, however you arrange it, whatever dinos you want, you got to go get them and take them with you and go in there and see what you can do.
Good idea.
Okay. I don't know. I was just thinking today that this probably doesn't even count for that, but I was thinking today that I want them to start doing like magic shit. You know what I mean? That would be pretty cool, in my opinion. Like being able to run around and like, I don't know, like they have the magic stuff in PixArk, and like that's fine. But then like being able to do it in like regular Arc with the cool graphics, I feel like would just be like,
Yeah,
cool,
it would be
you know?
amazing.
Yeah, I don't know.
It would kind of
That's
be
my
like
other
Dark
thing.
and Light, right?
I guess I've never
I was
played
just
that
wondering
before though,
about
so I don't really have a frame of reference for that.
Me either. Only those that have played it, like Falloon,
Right? Yeah.
and City, and Blue.
They could always do like a King of the Hill where there's a designated area that a tribe has to hold on to, and then everybody has to attack them to take ownership.
It would be kind of cool to have a mixed PvP PvE server where, like on the RP server we're playing on right now, like they designated a part of the Badlands was for PvP. It would be neat if they actually had a PvP area zoned in so that you wouldn't have to have all these, like you could go and battle stuff out and fight and then leave. I think that would be kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, because people
Like
are already
built-in
doing
arenas.
it. So if
Yeah, they're already
if
doing
there
it.
were, you know, a way to set that up that was just inherent in the game, that would really be cool.
Okay, I had one more thing that I remembered that I thought of earlier today. Okay, so it's like you have like there's some item, right? There's some kind of item that you have to like. It's like kind of like see how long you can hold on to said item, like some kind of artifact or something, right? And you like hide it in your base, and like people have to go and like try to steal it from you, but like they can raid the entire base, and it could just be on somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I feel like that'd be
It
cool.
could be hidden in a dodo or something.
Could be
Like
hidden in a
Warsaw
dodo.
Gulch.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah,
Or it'd be kind of cool because they already have those little boxes everywhere with the little dossiers in them. It'd be
Mhm.
kind of neat if they had more hidden boxes just randomly, but like puzzle pieces, so that like your goal for your tribe was to like really scour all corners of the map and like put together a dossier kind of a thing, and that like a puzzle. And then once you did that and unlocked like this hidden something boss or something, like you had to get all the pieces, and then you got like some new, like some different reward or whatever. I don't know what they would be, like it was gear or technology or something. I don't know.
But weren't they talking
that'd
about
be neat.
doing that back when Scorched Earth launched? You know, like you would be finding blueprints or what have you that you could only find out on the map somewhere. I thought they were.
I feel like
right?
that. I feel like you're right, but it's so vague to me right now because it feels like
Yeah,
so long
it was
ago.
like you had to find, you know, even up to a couple of different things to get the entire blueprint.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's kind of something similar to what they're doing in PixArk, and that to me is really enjoyable to have that cool find.
Right.
It's just like,
oh yeah,
oh hey, look, I got this cool engram, and it's for whatever. Right.
Right.
Gear,
Definitely.
Armor,
Totes.
weapons, tools, anything.
And I feel that's part that I did like about PixArk was that when you would log in, sometimes on sandbox games you log in and you don't really feel like you have that much of a direction right off the bat. And you kind of feel like, oh, I'm just logging in, don't know what I'm going to do. And it was kind of neat having like that little quest robot giving you like, hey, you're bored and you have nothing to do. Why don't you go do this? It'd be kind of neat to have that kind of an option where you could go run a quest and then turn in the objects and then maybe get some resource out of it, like, or something. Some sort of a boost. Maybe you get like an hour mate boost or something, or an hour. You know what I mean? That would be kind of neat because they already do that experience boost when you find those boxes. So I mean, it's there. The opportunity is there. Like it'd be kind of neat if they could do that. Like that would activate a half an hour increase in your resources. Like maybe your crop plots would produce more vegetables, or I feel like that would be neat. I feel like
right. Agreed.
Give you one where your peonia is poop more, so you have more fertilizer.
Yeah,
there you go.
Anything would be cool. It's like, oh man, my peonia is pooping a lot again. Why can't I get something cool?
All the feces, bro.
all of it. All right. Well, I think we came up with a lot of good ideas, and now I hope that they take some of them. Because I think the underwater one would be really badass, especially if they didn't have a limit or they up the limit on how many structures you could have on a raft. That would be so cool, honestly.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
Could have real pirate wars and stuff. And how hard would that be? I mean,
it wouldn't be.
Pirate wars would be fun. Naval battles.
Gosh.
Yeah, just deal with like water dinos, and you'd have to like go. I guess it'd be maybe some restructuring in somewhat, but I think it'd be really cool.
It would also be cool to not have elites.
To not have
and then you could get into the voice chat. You get into the voice chat and be like, I'm coming for you, booty.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, Blue, I think you got the next portion for us.
All right. Remember, beginning on May 10th and continuing I can talk. Beginning on May 10th and continuing every other week on Thursday, the community team will be doing a bi-weekly live stream. During these live streams, we will have Zenro, Chris, and Jen bring ARK news, celebrating modding and the community as a whole every other week. We'll be playing ARK, showing off mods, and showing off your community creations for all to see. Survivors are invited to join us in the chat, and sometimes even in game, if you're lucky, to play and talk with the community team and other developers. At this time, we're going to begin gathering up your community creations to be displayed on Steam. We are accepting any type of ARK-related fan art. This can be drawings, videos, builds, screenshots, handmade crafts, anything ARK-related. Be sure to follow their Twitch page so you don't miss the stream. And that is in our Discord.
Ooh. And how about you, Mr. Air? You have the next portion.
I do. So Wildcard Workshop and Mod Tutorial Contest update. Good day to you all. I'm not Zenro, but at the time that this was presented, Zenro was here. He had a new Wildcard Workshop video for you. He says, we revisit replication with some practical examples. Make sure to check out the download link in the post for the project files. So the 5th mod tutorial contest is now open. This time, we're going to do a freestyle contest, meaning it's the perfect opportunity to put together a tutorial for any of those concepts that you keep telling yourself you would. Today is also the last day for submissions for the 4th mod tutorial contest, so make sure that you don't forget to submit those before the end of the day. I don't know what day this was out, but before the end of whatever day this was released. Yeah, it's possible that this is irrelevant.
Well, this was all in their community crunch, so it was posted. It was Community Crunch 129, so they just lump everything in. So
right. Either way, it gave you some good info about that 5th one. So
absolutely
fresh servers.
Now, on May 1st, they launched a new set of servers on PC. These fresh servers have downloads disabled, but uploads enabled for a period of 60 days. After 60 days, transfers will be open, and they will no longer be called fresh servers. Players are invited to play and build on these servers without the threat of existing alpha tribes. Now, here is a list of the following servers. Let's start with Fresh PvE. No, I'm kidding. If you need to see them, they're all in the show notes.
A lot.
The funny thing is, what do you want to bet when they take the word fresh out? Nobody's going to be able to find their server.
You know.
Honestly,
that's
going to be me.
It probably will.
We play on the Summer's Eve official.
Oh, you're so silly.
Oh my god. Do they have any servers at all though that are official but don't have like transfers or any of that?
Yeah.
They got clusters, but I mean
they have ones that are just, what did they call them? You can't cross arc on them. They're isolated. They do have a handful of isolated servers that there is no going and coming.
Okay. Because I've never seen the point in that. I mean, I don't know.
But
I guess I don't know. It's just like for me, like I've never had like a server where I've had more than like well, I like the server that I got farthest on, I got to like a generator. It was like public server wise, so I feel like it's just it just gets to the point where sometimes people will just sit there on their servers and just annihilate anybody who comes anywhere near it. It's just kind of, it gets a little old after a little while. So I'm glad they're doing this. I just I don't know. I like the not having transfers thing personally.
Oh, that's what I thought you were saying. You don't know why they don't have. I totally agree with you. I like the isolated because I don't like the people who have built up so hardcore on their other server just plowing over, and because that's what they did. They did it all wrong when they added in the Ragnarok, when they released the Ragnarok map and they allowed transfers, and then you had those big PvE versions of a mega tribe, just people with way too much damn time on their hands, and they came in with like hundreds, probably even thousands of freaking metal pillars, and they just pillared the shit out of a brand new clean map, and it just was a big turd in the punch bowl the entire launch for that. Everybody was so excited, and then you go and do it, and there's like, and it's just like, come on, have some forethought. So I really wish that they did this kind of stuff when they should have done it.
Right, because the next time I go on to a PvP server and I don't bring anything and I get wiped by a Reaper King, I'm going to lose my mind. Like, honestly.
Exactly. That's too true. All right, you have another announcement for us, Goon.
Yes, another Ark Evolution event. The next Evolution event will take place from the 11th of May at 1 p.m. Eastern until Monday, the 14th at 3 p.m. Eastern.
I'm actually surprised they're announcing this in advance. I'm just saying.
That's kind of good for weekend warriors like me.
Yeah, but normally they don't announce it till the day of it starting, and then everybody's like, what?
I mean, it's smarter to announce it this way, but,
Yeah.
Because they don't get harassed on the daily.
Right.
What is it? Is it going to be this weekend? Is it going to be this weekend? Is it going to be this weekend?
Yeah,
That's all that it is like on Twitter. They'll be like, hey, here's our new community crunch. Hey, blah, blah, blah. We've talked about this. You're like, okay.
Their toxic community.
Yeah, that cracks me up so much. There'll be something like, it could be anything. It could be like the mod contest or something like that. And it'd be like, well, what about this and this on Xbox?
Exactly.
Or what about, how come you can't fix this? Or how come you can't fix that? I mean, it's so out of context. It's like,
it is.
Why are you even talking?
My neighbor's Parasaur keeps staring at me, and I don't like it. Like,
yeah.
Go away.
We're having a contest. Why can't you fix this?
Yeah.
At least it wasn't like the Parasaur that came up to me around your place. The one that was scratching his face and asking for a certain controlled substance.
Yes. I'm working on it. Do you see? I got in today. It's starting to take some shape. I got the roof. I started working on the 3rd floor. So.
Ooh.
She said she's roofing it.
At least your house didn't get eaten today.
Today, it's been eaten a couple times.
Honestly,
we used to have a dodo barn, a little dodo hut. We used to.
You're on rebuild number 6.
Yeah, no shit. Goon and I had at least 2.5 rebuilds our first night on the server, so
Honestly.
that was a little sketchy.
The next little juicy little tidbit of information or news is an enforcement action by enforcement Tuesday at 5:13 p.m. General discussion posted by enforcement wildcard staff. The update: we have completed our PC maintenance for an enforcement action pertaining to violations of our code of conduct. Our services have now resumed as usual. Thank you for your patience and ongoing support, survivors. As a result of today's enforcement, 40 tribes had structures and TAMs removed, 73 accounts were globally banned, and 21 accounts were hardware banned. This action concludes an investigation where the violations included aimbotting, undermeshing, DDoS involvement, RMT, use of other third-party programs or hacks, and direct association with others who violated the code of conduct.
So
that was really incredible when they posted that. That was
I know you guys were really super excited about it in Discord.
Yeah,
it was
about
like,
damn time people got in trouble for this stupid shit.
At some point, I don't know if we were doing it on the show, I don't remember, but we're just speaking in TeamSpeak about it. After that, it's like, so why are they, what's this with the code of conduct? Why are they doing that now?
Right.
Everybody, I guess we were suspecting that something was obviously up.
Right.
And so this was the why.
It's one of those things where they're just slyly letting everybody know, hey, you fucked up, and then bam, no, they
they had to leave like a paper trail, so people are going to be like, bunch of whinies.
Probably talk to the legal team, be like, yeah, we're going to do this. Yeah, you better let them know this is why first.
Exactly.
Bunch of whinies.
It says this year on the 6th of my spot is this year on the 6th of February, they announced a one-time amnesty against a number of tribes on their official PC PvP network due to a widely exploited vulnerability. They informed the community that this would be a one-time situation, and in the future, they would continue to be heavy-handed against those who play unfairly and break their rules, now the code of conduct, on the official servers. During the enforcement action of that Fel just talked about, they temporarily prevented joint access to a number of their official servers as they worked to enforce their code of conduct. They realized the effect that this downtime may have had on their players and sincerely apologized for any inconvenience this may have caused. They said, unfortunately, as they work to enforce their policies and take action against players and tribes that are not willing to follow the rules, server outages are a necessary action that must occasionally take place for the betterment of the player experience as a whole. They said that the action will impact multiple tribes, and it did, and it consisted of the removal of structures, dinos, and items, as well as the possibility of a global network BattlEye protected and or hardware ID ban for cheaters. In this instance, the violations included aimbotting, wherein under the meshing DDoS, RMT, and using various other third-party programs, they decided to issue bans where warranted, and continued violations of their code of conduct will result in future further wipes and bans. The downtime affected a lot of servers, and they were down for around 6 to 9 hours, and they have an entire list of the servers that were affected that we will not read, but they are in our show notes. So, Mr. Air Dubaii is going to wrap up this portion of our news with the next section.
Yes, they say, please ensure that when playing our game, you abide by our code of conduct. And if you would like to make a report, you can do so here, PC, or contact our support team for consoles. I don't know where here is necessarily, but
the forums.
Oh, okay, the forums. Gotcha, forums, cool. So to be clear, cheating in ARC will not be tolerated. We do not take our responses and actions lightly and have put much thought and deliberation into how we would best enforce our policies moving forward. We will continue to diligently monitor our game for rule breakers, cheaters, and all-around quote-unquote bad actors, and will continue to commit resources to implementing new and better solutions related to detecting and removing those who are playing unfairly. We realize that innocent players will be caught up in the enforcement of our code of conduct. Unfortunately, there is no perfect quote-unquote silver bullet solution, as we work to improve our game in this regard. We apologize for any loss and inconvenience this may cause, but feel it is a necessary side effect of enforcing our rules. We will continue to do so we will continue to do our best to ensure that ARK remains a fair, fun, and competitive environment for all. Thank you for your continued trust, patience, and ongoing support, survivors. Love, Studio Wildcard.
Love Studio Wildcard.
You know, I'm sorry. If I was guilty by association and hadn't done anything, I would be really upset.
Me too. Just saying, we realize innocent players will be caught up. What? It's not like you're fishing and you get an innocent person in your net. Like, you're taking action.
Right. We
Are you sure they don't
them
just
money, and now you're going to ban me? And I am just guilty by association. Maybe I should have known better. Maybe whatever.
But that's the thing, though. It's maybe I should have known better. If you're in a tribe that's doing this stuff and you know about it, I mean, it's just like if you get arrested for knowing that your friend was going to commit murder and you didn't try to stop them, you're still, an accomplice to that.
No, and that's fine. But what I'm talking about is let's say I'm a part of the big tribe and I'm just a farmer guy. I go out and I farm stone. Okay? And they're out there doing these things, and I'm unaware of it. So that suddenly makes me guilty.
If
I would
prove your case,
I would be very
I'm sure they could
that.
reverse the ban.
It's like I've got nothing to lose now.
But being in an alpha tribe, I know that it's hard to play ignorant because you know when people are doing things they're not supposed to.
I can't necessarily say that that's true, though.
Yeah,
not everybody is omnipotent. They don't... Because I've had several friends when I first started playing ARK that were in PvP Alpha Tribes, and they were what Falloon said. They would say, hey... Because there's people like Goon that really love to just log in and farm. And they would... And a couple of my friends were this way, and they said that they joined, and they were like, yeah, what do you like to do? And they're like, well, I love to farm. They're like, oh, cool, that's all you need to do. And they would set them up with everything they needed, pick them up, drop them off at the mountain, drop them off back. And they were never part of the whole process in that way. They were literally just farming. They would go pick them up and they would transport them back.
It's very, very possible.
Not everybody's in the inner circle, because you can't have everybody in the inner circle if you are doing something. You're not going to tell everybody, because you're going to run into the risk of people knowing what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that would be very haphazard to run a tribe that way.
I mean, and I'm just speaking how definitely I would feel. But on the flip side of the coin, if I definitely was doing those things, I'd also be going, well, I got caught. I mean,
collateral damage.
I was doing it and I got caught. There's nothing I'm going to be able to do about that.
And unfortunately, there are players, they cannot face
forums or making videos or whatever it is. I would never be able to do that if I was the guy that was actually doing the aimbotting or whatever it was. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Well, the way I look at it, though, is like, say you're in one of these big alpha tribes and you're not involved in what's going on, but you're still a part of it. If I was a player on that server and all that was going on, if they banned everybody but these one or two people that supposedly weren't doing it, and yet then all of a sudden it starts happening again because they didn't ban those people, I'm going to be pissed because, I'm over here busting my ass doing it legit, and these people said they weren't doing it, so they...
What if that people was you? Would you still be pissed? I think you would be.
Losing them again.
Yeah, he broke again.
I was, when Dark and Light launched, I get in there and it's so much like ARK. And so I'm playing Dark and Light, a lot like ARK, but it had so many differences, it's really kind of fresh, So I was trying to figure, I don't even know how I got on the subject, but I think I was on the forum or whatever, or read some patch notes or something. And they were talking about how feeding carnivores is to heal them up is as an exploit. And I'm like, well, I've been doing this.
Wait,
I said it right on the forum.
Where does it say that?
I've been doing this. And other people were talking about it, and then it was just like one of those things. The more I thought about it, the madder it got.
Yeah.
And then so I started calling out the dev that was involved in the discussion. I was mad, man. I was like, how dare you, in an early access game that's not fully developed, where you didn't even tell anyone that this was not an intended feature, how dare you call them an exploiter? I was just fit to be tied. I almost quit and walked away from it at that point.
I don't blame you. I mean, if they're going to make the game stupid, then why are they going to get mad at people using the stupid parts of the game? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And that's Snail Games.
Snail Games.
And Snail Games acquired Studio Wildcard, as Snail Games made Pixark, and Snail Games did Dark and Light.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's kind of a trail we're going to start to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how they eventually put in a little delay, though, now. So it's more compliant, I guess.
In what way?
For the force feeding. There's a little delay timer when you're force feeding.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's really stupid that they would do that, but it's kind of like, they don't tell you, they don't, it's
right,
like,
exactly.
You're doing this.
I mean, and they were slamming Wildcard in that very same thread about how that was never an intended feature and they just didn't know how to fix it. Whatever, man. It's there.
That's not even professional. That's theirs, and it's not even professional. They're slamming their own company.
Exactly.
Right. In my mind, cheating is one thing, but then exploiting things that already exist in the game is, it's like, why don't you fix the game? How about that?
Yeah, it's just like, Esme, you've said it before. Don't put it in the game.
Right.
If it's capable, if players are capable of doing something, they're gonna do it.
Exactly.
So if you don't want it, then get rid of it.
Then take it out. Make it not possible.
But if you use this part of the game, you're cheating.
Yeah, it's like, and then how are they going to police something they didn't even put in or nothing? So you're breaking rules you didn't know were rules. It's just so ass backwards.
But and there's something. One of the points I was trying to make with that Snail Games Dark and Light story was that you got to be forthcoming with information. You can't whisper to one another and say, well, I hope they don't figure this out. If it is, we're just going to, it's an exploit. And then when people figure it out, it's like, well, you weren't supposed to be doing that. Well,
because they will figure it out.
Wasn't supposed to be doing that. I mean, where is the manual?
Right.
Where does it say that Falloon cannot do this?
Exactly.
I didn't read that anywhere.
Right.
Which, yes, I have a little, that irritates me. That's in my rage section under tips today.
To me, I mean, once they made the game an official game, there is no exploits. That should have been taken out while it was still beta.
Should have.
And, and then when they said, okay, this is an official game now, this is our game, it should not be considered an exploit at that point because they knew it was there. They thought it was all right. We'll just go ahead and put it in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
But it is a good thing that this is like with all these bans and stuff like this, they're really pushing their code of conduct and stuff like right now. But it's kind of like, why in the hell did it take you this long? To me, it's like you let people be douche canoes for 2 years, and then now all of a sudden you're wanting to hit it hard with your code of conduct. And yes, you're finally getting in and cleaning house, but damn, how many players did you lose with this behavior that you let go for this long? Like, that's crazy.
Okay, now in all fairness, if they wanted to do something, they need to draw a line in the sand somewhere. It's like, okay, well, this was happening from this point forward, and maybe that's what they were trying to say with their code of conduct. From this point forward, this can no longer happen. If it continues to happen, we're going to start banning people and doing all these things. So it's rough. It's a hard thing when you're managing something big and a lot of people are involved, and you say, well, this is whatever it is has been happening. It's detrimental. We need to put a stop to it, but it's been happening for so long. How do we do it? And at some point, you just got to draw a line in the sand and say, own up to it too. Well, yeah, we did let it go, but from this point forward, it can no longer happen, and these are the consequences.
Well, how long have they been an official game?
Since was not December. That was when Aberration came out.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
So December, it's just now May, so 6 months. So you have to consider, you can't really consider it being 2 years. You have to start from when it became an official game. So they've been doing this.
That's what I mean, though. If they knew the shit was going on in the testing phase and they let the shit continue 6 months into their full release, that's really ridiculous, in my opinion. You knew the meat was spoiled and you still served it to the people, and then you wanted to take it back to the kitchen and give them a new steak 6 months in. That just doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. It's like, don't serve spoiled shit in the first place and you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yep.
I'm bringing in Miss Scarlett. She wants to listen in. Yeah, I guess that's how I look at it, Goon. You're looking at it from the positive aspect.
And it's not only that, but what might have been the holdup too. Of course, we really don't know what's in their minds, but they may not have had a way to even fix what was going on until recently.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
This code of conduct stuff.
On the other hand,
I don't think it takes very much tech to just communicate. Their intent, you know what I mean? And I guess I'll just bring my enraged section comment up here, though, because still, we were talking about it earlier, like last week. They don't even have it linked. Like, if this meant so much to them, why is it not linked from the login screen on Arc? Why are they relying on Twitter and forums and maybe their little ticker in the right hand side? Make a permanent presence known right up front. These are the rules. These are our code of conduct. This is what happens. But they don't do that. It's still very small print. It's still the people who are not on the forums and not on Twitter and not on Reddit and not, talking about it around the water cooler of Arc. They're not getting it. Like, throw it right up front. Then you there is no gray. Like, let's keep it black and white. You're either on the bus or you're off the bus, and let's make it that way. But they're treating people it that way, but not everybody knows. And if somebody saw that button and read through it and they're in a mega tribe and they might think something's shady going on, at least they have something to base it off from. Right now, if you're the kind of person that, like Falloon and I were talking about, that might be in that alpha tribe and they might be doing shady stuff and their gameplay is on the line, because if they're associated with a bunch of asshats, I think they should at least let people have the rules, have all of their cards, and make their decision instead of holding this stuff somewhere else or not even mentioning it. You know what I mean? It's just not in front of their face, so they probably don't even think about it. But if I had any inkling that I might be in trouble, I think reading through that code of conduct would help me differentiate if I've seen some shady business and maybe I should not be in this tribe anymore.
Well, could they do like a lot of places do? When you read this code of conduct, you hit accept.
Does that make sense?
You hit accept, and it lets you in the game. That way, they have like the first time you load into the game.
Yeah.
First time you load it up.
They should do that. They should.
Now, they have it on record. Say, look, right here it says you agreed to our code of conduct on the day you started the game. It's there. If you didn't read it, you just marked you agreed to it. That's not on us. That's on you. It was there for you to read, and you said you agreed to it.
Like World of Warcraft does.
Yeah, and this sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know. This sort of thing's always kind of been their weak point, like the support and all the the feedback and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
right, exactly. So, to be expected, I feel like.
I agree. It seems like that. Yeah, it's definitely nothing. It's definitely nothing new. But it still pisses me off. Because that kind of stuff is so important to me, and it irritates me when I see it being done incredibly bad.
For sure.
No attempt given at all. It's ridiculous. But what's going on now is I just caught wind of some of the drama and the backlash of what is going on. There's on Reddit and on the Steam forums and on Twitter and on YouTube. It's everywhere. Are the people who were wiped by this, but they're looking at this one tribe named I've heard it referred to as the T tribe and the TA tribe, and when they're the ones that seem to be untouchable. So now, everybody, it'd be like if you had 20 mob bosses and all of them got whacked or locked up in jail. 19 of them did, but one is always super slippery. And the 19 are behind bars going, what the hell? Why is this dude always getting off? Why is this dude always slipping through? Does he have a really good lawyer? Does he know does he have some connections?
His daddy's the captain of police.
Yes, exactly. Their daddy's the captain of police. So right now, honestly, I wouldn't even, this doesn't affect me in the least bit. It doesn't affect any of us because a lot of us here don't want to play official PvP anymore because of this kind of shit. Because for the past year, I've even seen people tweet at Jen because they were accusing a lot of the devs of having favorite players and gifting them high level dinosaurs. And there's always been like a conspiracy there because they would go by somebody's base and they somehow have like a level 500 Rex, but nobody else does. And then supposedly they were just random eggs that you could fertilize. They would just be left in like obelisks and stuff, and people are like, oh, well, that's really weird, so there's always been like a conspiracy thing around the wildcard devs and stuff like that, like they do have their favorites, but now it's gone. It's everywhere right now, and so that's probably the only way I even found out about it, because we would never come across it because it doesn't affect us. But it's this TEA tribe, and I put some links to some of the spots that you'll find in the show notes. But if you just Google TE tribe in ARC, you will have an unlimited amount of information spanning over a year, 2 years, the same tribe. And recently, when they did this wipe, they have been wiped. They have been, the devs have wiped this tribe before, and they have documentation. Players have seen the tribe get wiped, and then all of a sudden there's a rollback, and some players are saying that the TEA tribe is actually rolling back the server in a way that negates the dev wipe, so that the devs wipe the base, but then magically it reappears. So, and it's such a huge mega tribe. Now there's conspiracy theory around it that there must be somebody with Snail Games involved, because they don't feel like Wildcard would be doing this. They know that Wildcard was acquired. There's some funny pictures out there where it has like Snail Games is like the dominatrix, and it has Wildcard down on their knees with a dog collar on with like a chain, like pulling them along. There's so many different memes. There's that Homer Simpson meme where he slowly sucks himself back into the shrubbery in the yard. Like it was like Snail Games, and it had the neighbor with a snail for a head, and then it had Wildcard as Homer edging back and hiding out in the shrubs because he wants to hide from all the Snail Game shit. So there's a big conspiracy around this, and and also the two servers apparently that the TEA tribe is on didn't even make the list of those that were hit, and they are one of the biggest offenders of the aimbotting and the undermeshing. And they said in one of the videos it was server 371, server 165, like why aren't those servers on? And they're like, oh, it's because those are two of the servers that the TEA tribe is on. So they said that these tribes are no joke. They have extensive video from multiple YouTubers that have counted all of the stuff through their screenshots and their video, and this is how pissed off these people are. They have devoted a lot of their life to like trying to take these people down, because they don't feel that it's very fair. And they said this particular TE base had 20 tech generators on max range, and 20 by 24 equals 480 element a day. And they're like, there's just no way. Like, how are they doing this? They're like, because they've been, they have a lot of proof that they've been hacks are going on in aimbotting and stuff like that. They've gone to Reddit. They've gone into the community Discord and asked chat about it. And this particular tribe, I guess, had been given amnesty at some point, but every time they get wiped, they just roll back. So they're like, is the tribe rolling them back, or is Wildcard rolling it back? But that seems kind of weird. Or is Snail Games rolling it back? Because now they feel like they don't want to blame Wildcard. They feel like it's Snail Games. Somebody in that tribe is related. That's what the conspiracy theory is. I don't know. I just thought I'd share this.
I'm on Twitter right now, And Jet had made a post, make sure you're going through to the right places so they can and will be investigated. And it has the links for PC and console. And then he has a sub post saying, blah, bit of word garbage in this tweet. Make sure your reports are going to the right place. I was scrolling down through the tweets, and I think it's like the sixth one down, and it's somebody, he's like, but can't respond about tea. Pathetic.
I'm telling you, it's everywhere right now. They say that the minute they ask Wildcard about it, they're mum. And that's why they feel like it's weird that they see these bases getting wiped, and then, whoop, they can log back in, and they're there again, like they never were touched. But all these other people got banned and got wiped. So that's just what, you know.
They're not just getting wiped. They're also getting raided.
Banned. Yeah, and raided. Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting raided, and I mean, people are breaking into their bases, taking all their stuff. They come back a couple hours later, base is back. They do a rollback.
Yep.
Base is fine. Like it's never been raided.
Yep, I'm glad you mentioned that, because in the videos they say multiple YouTubers that are in the tribes actually have footage of them going into these TEA bases and raiding them, and then all of a sudden they break back in, and you're right, like it was never touched. So it's like they are this untouchable conglomerate, and now it's really starting to stink because everybody's going, what is going on? And I thought one of the videos, did you guys notice it had like the X-Files music behind it? It was cracking me up.
The Illuminati background.
Yeah, it was cool. But yeah, it's out there. Just Google the TEA tribe on Ark, and there's just over a year's worth of information about what's going on there. But if any of our listeners have any information that they want to share, go for it, because we are not speaking from first person, because we don't give a shit, because this don't affect us. But
true,
it kind of does, because nobody wants to play. Like, we have players that don't want to play on PvP official anymore because of, obviously, you heard a couple of episodes ago, Xbox members constantly getting undermeshed. They're just going to go play on unofficials now. There's conspiracy theories with that they just don't care, because they figured, well, it's less servers we have to deal with, you know, if these people don't want to play on them anymore. We've talked about that in the past. But yeah, so just if this interests you, go digging. You will find some nuggets right away.
But I don't know why you want to foster that sort of environment on your game.
Either.
Doesn't make sense to me. Like, wanting less servers on your... I feel like you would want more servers, because it'd mean more people are playing your game.
Right, and then why go through... And I think this is what people are wondering, why go through all of this rigmarole with reiterating your code of conduct, banning people, and doing all this stuff, but then not touching this one base that has actual video footage and screenshots and multiple reports? Like, why... That I can see why they're curious. Like, what is this? Like, what is going on? So, and it's like, if they could to wipe them, then why aren't they staying wiped? Why are they getting to roll back repeatedly as if they are untouchable? That is going to start, that is Limburger cheese, like, left alone, hanging out in the corner of a room. Over time, it does start to smell, and more people start looking for it, and I feel like that's what's going on right now. Everybody's like, wait a minute, this is not right. So, I mean, that's a shame. We don't know why it's happening, but it is weird to me that is happening.
It's a dev team tribe.
It's something. That's what they say. It's something, and they just want to know. And I can see that if you get, and all these people though that got banned for, you can't. I mean, it's the pot calling the kettle black. You know, like you can't. It's both of you are the same. Both of you are doing shiesty things. Most of you got caught, but I do understand why they're mad. Like, yeah, you did something shitty, but these guys are doing it, and they're doing it and getting away with it. And I guess I can see why that would make some people sour.
Well, it's like when, you get pulled over for speeding when you're doing the same speed as everybody else.
Yeah.
It's like when you hit your brother, but then your brother gets caught hitting you and you get away with it.
Yep, it's like that.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. So I just thought I'd toss that in there, piggyback that onto what happened, because this is definitely what has arose from all of their bans and stuff. This is as the arc turn. We're gonna be moving into Dino Spotlights.
Come on down to Dinosaur City, your one-stop shop for help with all your plots. We got titles to cover all your needs, from arms to alarms, from intimidating to intimate.
Well, hello there. Look at you being all sexy, staring at me with those hungry eyes, like you could just eat me up.
So come on down to Dinosaur City. We can help you. To help yourself, pick the title that's right for you. And remember, we have a special every week, and this week's special is...
The Nidaria. Yeah, the Nidaria omnimorph is another example of a creature which should not exist. It has traits that seem derived from many types of jellyfish. It possesses the size and shape of a large egg yolk jellies, the powerful sting of certain box jellies, and the bioluminescence of deep sea jellies. This all combines to make a dangerous creature that lights up the deepest reaches of the ocean. Now, the Nidaria is not generally aggressive because it lacks normal perceptive senses. It generally just floats along the current until something gets close enough to sense, at which point it attacks. Now, while these attacks are not directly powerful, its sting injects an incredibly strong and fast-acting sedative.
Domesticated, the Cindaria, or whatever, is barely more intelligent than a plant. There's no effective method to tame one. Most tribes kill them on sight. Then they collect its reserve of powerful sedative, which is the biotoxin, to use in technically advanced long-distance tranquilizers. The top 2 Dodo Dex tips from dododex.com. Number 1 is never go near it with your dino. It will kill you, your dino, your friends, your family, the guy down the street, some guy over in Africa, and while they won't do a thing to attack it.
Yeah, and their attacks shock you, which makes you unable to move. And the outfits stick in groups. So if you get surrounded by these, you're basically dead. Don't use melee weapons, use a crossbow.
So do you guys have any feedback on these?
Go ahead.
It says that they're not aggressive, but how come when I'm in the water, they can see me, they aggro to me? I don't know. Do they aggro to you guys? It seems like...
Oh, yeah. No, they're aggressive as hell. They chase your ass down.
Yeah.
I honestly think they did get a buff, because our information was from the dossier and from Dododex, but I did see some people complaining that they buffed them. So maybe that's where that came from.
These things are evil.
Yeah, they're bastards. I've lost many a times because of them.
Yeah, they don't just sting you. They'll knock you right off your tame.
I had a megalodon following my boat once, and I accidentally ran into a whole bunch of these things, and they just ate it alive.
I've got a tip for whoever came up with that name. If you want it to be pronounced Nidaria, then leave the damn C off.
Exactly. I ain't gonna pronounce. I'm like, what do we? Cindaria?
Well, see, they put them there because it's a sea creature.
Oh, and for those who can't understand,
okay, I stand corrected.
That was good.
So they put the C there because it's a sea creature.
Well, you want to kill it with your knife.
Of course.
Knife.
Falloon's majestic admin tip.
Okay, this week's admin tips. As you know, last week I said that I was going to be, since I'm on PS4, that I was going to be trying out some of the admin stuff there. And one thing that was new to me, the way I found out, I was in a party chat with Nimsy one of our CRR members. She is playing with a group of friends right now on one of their servers. And several of them in this party chat were admins. And so, they were talking about different things. A lot of it was kind of old news, but they kept talking about this GFI code. And so, I didn't want to interrupt what they were doing, so I just kept thinking, GFI code. What is this GFI code thing? So I looked it up. And what it turns out to be is that it's actually like a shortcut for blueprint paths that you would use when you use the console command give item. And so, like give item, you would have this big long path, and then the quantity and the quality and so on and so forth. Well, this thing has the quantity numbers. Wow, I can't speak. And but they're shortened down to, like, for example, let's say you wanted to spawn in a grill, an industrial grill. It is simply cheat GFI grill 100. That's it.
Wow.
And the neat thing with that is you don't even have to the whole thing. You just have to give it enough of the letters so it figures out what the hell you're trying to get.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really neat. And when I was looking into that, what I meant to do tonight before the show and didn't was to get on our cluster where I'm an admin, and just try it for PC. It doesn't say in the wiki that I read that it does not work for PC. It just says that it's a shortcut.
It does. It works for PC. I do it a lot. It's a blast. Okay, but the thing you have to be careful of, though, is, like, what they'll do is they'll, like, you have to, like, do it as part of the, like, it has to be a word from the blueprint path, right? So if you're trying to type in, like, an assault rifle, it has to be, like, weapon rifle or something like that you have to type in. It's just, you gotta, be careful what it is that you put in. It's
really, I just thought it was really cool. Coming from PC, where you can go to the wiki, click on a link, copies it to the clipboard or whatever. When I first started doing it, I think, Esme, you gave me a link to a Google Doc that had a lot of those items on it. It was the same thing. Basically click it or copy and paste it in there, and you're done. I mean, it's still really fast for PC. But this rivals that speed with the shortness of it. It's really, really incredible, and it would work so much more or so much better for something like console.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because if you're doing it on console, it's going to take you like 20 minutes to type in that.
Yeah, because when I first, we were talking about putting down admin loot boxes on Yogi's server, and of course, I absolutely wanted to help with that. And this was before I knew anything about this GFI code. And I really dragged my feet because it was like, oh my god, I'm really going to have to use that stupid wheel and weird keyboard thing to...
Honestly.
I'm like, oh man, this is not going to be fun. But, I still wanted to do it. But after I learned about the GFI code, I'm like, oh, this is simple, man. If this works on PC, I'm going to do it. I'm sure it probably does. But I don't think I don't feel like the same amount of commands are there. But, I'm still new to it. There's probably the list I'm looking at is not an exhaustive list, so...
Yeah, I think anything that you can get from a blueprint, you can get from the GFI commands. Like I said, you basically just have to give it enough of the file name so that it knows exactly what you're looking for, and but you can get anything that way. You can even get things that are like not even like non-existent. Like if you put in I think it's table. You get some kind of like generic food item or something. There's some weird stuff in there.
Oh, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. And mod stuff too. It'll do mods. So if you have like I did like the Pokemon mod, and I typed in Pokeball, and I got a Pokeball.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought I would share. That was new for me, and anybody else out there who doesn't know it, it's there. And you can learn about it just by searching ARC GFI codes. And come up with lists and explanations and all kinds of cool stuff. The other thing that I wanted to, the other tip is one of the things that is when you're setting up some servers on a cluster, ARC is still, I don't know, broken in a sense where clusters are concerned when they're passworded. So, and I think, like my first one that I put up, they didn't say don't use one. I found that out in the community that I should probably not use one. Now, I think the new information, I think they're saying don't use passworded servers on a cluster. And when I first started up the cluster, there was a lot of things, it was my first time. And so what we ended up doing was we had a character on every server, which kind of in a way defeated the purpose of having a cluster. It wasn't really a cluster, it was just another set of servers with the characters. So when you are able to use whitelists or exclusive join lists, and you basically get a list of people's Steam ID 64 number, and it goes in this list. And the way it generally works when you put them on the list, you can put them on the list while the server's up, but in order for it to take effect, the server has to restart. But there is a way to do this. What I've been doing lately is if nobody's happens to be on the server, I'll go ahead and restart it. If there are people playing on the server, what I'll do is just make sure that I'm logged in on the server, and then I'll type the command allow player to join no check and their Steam ID number. And what that does is it immediately allows them to join the server without a server restart. But in the meantime, I've also added them to the exclusive join list, where the next time the server does its daily restart, there's no more worries. They're just on the list. Now, what I haven't tested is if I do not manually enter their Steam ID 64 number into the join list, and I just use allow player to join no check, is it still valid after the restart? I don't know what the answer to that question would be. But it is a good way to get somebody into your server right away.
It is handy too.
Oh yeah.
You did it for us, and it worked really well.
And actually, Esme, that was the first time I tried it. I'm like, I'm gonna try this, and
hell, it worked.
Yeah, it worked great.
That's awesome.
And that's all I have.
We're moving it into my new segment. Got name?
If we're gonna do this thing, we need to come up with a name. Something,
I know.
Something catchy, something.
I've been thinking about it.
Electric.
Things feel like. I don't know.
So what about
Bounty Oblivion, Red Moguls, Ethereal Jackals, Weapons of the Sincere, Vengeance of the Scorpion, Seekers of the Holy, Struggle of the Wretched. I kind of feel like that's what that whole band thing with the TEA tribe is. This whole drama is Struggle of the Wretched.
Yeah. When they rise from the ashes.
Exactly. Oh, I should tell everybody, I this was my new segment that I do, just hitting random on the fantasy name generator to help everybody come up with fantastic names for your tribes, so you don't have to run around as Tribe of Joe. So now you can run around as Fell Eagles.
Hey, that's a good one.
I know, right? Sun Shields. And last but not least, Rumble Lust.
I'm going to use
Good
that
job.
Rumble Lust is my favorite.
I like that one.
Rumble Lust.
The way Big Blue was talking earlier, I could see him liking that one.
Yeah. What am I not reading these out? I think you should be reading these out.
You gotta give me some of that Rumble Lust.
Oh my god.
I think I kind of like the Red Moguls, though. That one's kind of cool.
Red Moguls? Yeah. Yeah.
The Weapons of the Sincere. I'm not sure what that would be.
Weapons of the Sincere.
That's a goon tribe right there, because you always whack us and shoot us and trank us, but you're always so very sincere when you do it. That would be your tribe name, Weapons of the Sincere.
Yeah, but do you want cool or do you want sexy?
Mean it.
Yeah. Vengeance of the Scorpion. Oh, so there you go. If you needed a name, now you got a name.
And if any of you guys actually use one of these names, let us know.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
That would be really
definitely.
cool, yes.
It would be neat. Take a screenshot. Send it to us. All right. Well, here's everybody's favorite segment of the show. It is Scarlet Diaries. But Foe, like I said, couldn't make it tonight. Was ambushed by the in-laws. But we do have some pinch hitters. Is that what? Pinch hitters, yeah. We have some pinch foers faux pinchers. So is it going to be Goon? Is Goon taking over? Or are you... Because it looked like Big Blue was going to help, but now he's kind of backing out. He's second-guessing his helping.
I didn't feel it was appropriate to put it in an dirty old man's voice, so...
Okay, so...
Goon will be just fine doing it.
Goon will be just fine. All right, here we go.
He can handle it.
We're going to... Goon is going to take a crack at being Scarlet and reading Scarlet's diaries tonight. Here we go.
If you're in the mood to kick back and munch on some kibble and drink some old Luminance crazy concoctions while listening to a great tale, you've come to the right place, I reckon. This is the Scarlet Fury Diaries.
Dear Diary, Bobbert and I have been traveling together for 2 weeks now, and we've been falling further and further in love. I also repaid my life by saving his. He was pinned down by a saber-tooth, and was just about to sink his teeth into his neck when I heroically ran in, crossbow a-blazing, and shot him in the eye. As we cooked the unfortunate animal, I felt the chemistry between us increase. As we talked, we started moving closer and closer towards me. Finally, we were inches apart, and I knew that Bobbert was the one for me. As our lips met over the cooked meat, it was like the entire world was ablaze. That was because we were both moved too close to the campfire, and we were now burning. We managed to put our clothing out, but now I know for certain Bobbert feels the same way about me as I do for him.
Aww.
Now, let's talk about the foe. It's a strange, dangerous creature. Extreme caution must be taken when encountered in the wild. If foe sees you, it will likely use its nearest weapon or raw strength to dispatch you and everything you hold dear. The only thing to bend a foe to your will is to sacrifice a fellow tribe member to it. Once tamed, it's important to train the foe properly, else he could be difficult to manage. However, it is incredibly useful if managed well. A tamed foe can wreak havoc on other tribes. It's experienced at trolling, it has great building, gathering resources, and killing other threats. The perks of a tamed foe outweigh the negatives. Yours truly, Scarlet Fury.
That's amazing.
Beautiful.
Scarlet.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful, dude.
I love those stories.
Oh God, you
Brought a tear to my eye.
Knocked it out of the park, man. I was really worried when their clothes caught fire. Oh my goodness. But Scarlet did add a PS. It said, I would like to thank all of the CRR Gaming Group for their support. I have been going through a rough time in my life, and I appreciate the constant advice and good vibes that the group has been giving me. I heavily encourage listeners to join the group and become part of this fantastic CRR family. That means so very much. So thank you very much, Scarlett.
Aww.
Yeah.
We're just lucky to be there for one another when we need each other. So that's awesome.
Oh, it brings tears to my eyes.
Yes. Oh my God.
Fantastic.
I feel like you should just carry the rest of the show out as Scarlet now. Because that's kind of awesome.
Just start doing the animal bios. The dossier.
Oh my goodness. Or you sound like you could be a lunch lady. We could make like a recipe segment where you share recipes as Chef La Gunetta.
Yes.
The Mrs. Doubtfire.
Hello! Oh, yeah, exactly. That's why, yes, you do sound like Mrs. Doubtfire. That's awesome.
I don't know, our lunch ladies growing up, they were all smokers.
Hey, honey, what do you want for lunch? You want potato tots?
Tater tots and potatoes.
Yeah. No, I swear to God, I love that square pizza when I was in lunch, when I had lunch. Hot lunch and Did you guys have the little like rectangle government pizza or whatever?
Oh God, yes. You pick it up and like grease just pours out of it.
And it was like all those little dots on the bottom, but it was delicious. It was the most. I love that shit.
Yes.
Did you guys
had tacos and
That was
fries.
the best pizza ever.
It was. I don't even know why. It's probably the most simple thing, but man, it was the best.
We had the Mexican pizza.
You're lucky, man. All you had was some weird square.
Cool. Little octagon-shaped pizza.
You got octagon?
I was gonna say, you sure that's lettuce and tomato?
Because I didn't have that fancy smanchy pizza.
Yeah, it was like private boarding school.
Well, they had to do something with the leftover salad bar. I'm just saying.
It's so true. They can only have meat surprise, once a week.
I was raised in a private boarding school. We were brought up on the finest of things.
It must have been. Jeez. I'm over here talking about my government rectangle pizza. You're like, oh, I have Mexican pizza. Oh, good for you. Good for you.
Well, that, couldn't be as bad as going to a Catholic school.
Yeah,
the nuns had the yardsticks that the nuns carried around were really hard on your knuckles.
Oh.
I need to wear those skirts and knee-high black socks.
I thought that was awesome. I don't know what you're talking about. It made me more comfortable with my manhood. I'm just saying.
Well, speaking of manhood, it is tip time.
Was it just the tip?
Just a tip. We have lots of tips for everybody. All the tips. All right, getting us started is the new guy. The new guy.
Yeah, the new guy. Oh my god.
Here we go. Punchy tips.
I need that wood.
Yes, I'm punching some trees.
Okay. I said punching tips. Okay. Alright, take it away.
Hey, okay. So this tip is going to be super lit. No pun. I pun actually very much intended. So, okay. So, guys, you know how you're like walking around and it's like all dark and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't see anything and this is awful. Why am I playing this game? But it turns out that you could just press tab and type in gamma like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Esme taught me this like 2 days ago and it's changed my life. And okay, I got really excited and they were like, do you have any tips for new players? And I was like, absolutely. Okay, so I'm really exciting to me. Okay.
You know what? It's all coming together now because we were just in the lava cave, and every once in a while he'd bring out a torch, and I've had gamma on, and I kept getting way too far ahead of him. I'm like, come on, man. It all comes together. I'm sorry. I should have known.
All coming together now.
And yeah, I mean, you even said, you're like, oh yeah, I can use gamma.
Right.
So it never even dawned on me that you didn't have gamma on at the moment.
I know how you feel, because that's how I didn't know why Big Blue a couple weeks ago couldn't see the Trudon, because he didn't have his gamma on. And
it was a damn combi.
He kept telling. It was like this.
I think it might be a combi.
I feel like it's a Trudon.
What the hell?
Good night, Scarlet. That
was awesome.
Man. That's exactly how that went. Because I could see everything clear as day, kind of like how Foul felt, and then Blue was being all, realistic, and he's in the dark and he's squinting. I can't see anything.
I had a torch out and everything.
Oh god, it was so funny. So, Felipe, do you have a punching trees tip?
I do. So when you just spawn in and you're gonna start building your thatch hut, and there's a T-Rex or something down the beach. Don't think that you can escape from it in your thatch hut. You can't. Probably the best thing to do is just aggro it away. So having said that, one of the first things that I've learned to do is, I'm one of my focuses is getting that sleeping bag built, because Ark is Ark, and when you die, it's going to spawn you on the other side of the T-Rex from your hut.
It's so true, man. So true.
At Johnny.
So true.
Hey. I was in my thatch hut when I aggroed a freaking tickle chicken, and it ate me and the house, okay?
Dude, I knew you were going to have comments. I swear to God, I wrote that way before that happened to you.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
I mean, that's just the kind of luck I have. I'm in my house, and it aggroes on me. I was like, really?
I have a feeling that Johnny's just a little bit salted about this.
Man, I am so salted I could be a salt block, let me tell you.
He is definitely not Mr. Dash tonight. Definitely
Just full
not.
of sudden.
I tried out a dad joke. Did I pass?
Wow. Me and Esme and that stupid Carno ate our house 2 times.
Oh my god, that was nuts, man.
Oh yeah, we had our bed down. It was great until they ate it.
Until they ate the damn bed.
Well, you know, we had a similar experience when Aberration launched, and we got a server up right away, and a bunch of us were trying to get a little, you know, hut established, and so we could start making some better tools and whatnot, and all of a sudden there's a Carno, and there's what are the little dog things? I forgot what they are already.
Lystros?
Not the Lystros, the Aberration Wolf, Cave Wolf. Ravager, yeah. So between being nashed and getting that bleed that they give you, and the Carno killing us constantly, and ripping apart everything that we build, we finally just teamed up and killed it. But, I mean, that probably was one of the most memorable nights I had in Ark in a really, really long time, is just constantly getting murdered by this Carno. You know, and you were like, you know, this thing has got, you know, in my mind, it's like, this thing is just owning us. It's got to be like level, 150 or something, and it's like level 20.
Right. I think you're right, because it's like you get humbled very quickly, and it's so nice to be able to rely on your friends to get their asses handed to them just as much as you. And like, you do it together. It's a great team event. Grabbing your ankles, being murdered by Carnos, and anything else.
Right.
You're
What
right.
I
They're
remember
normally
is
like level 15.
I actually got my weapons and ammo off of one of the dead bodies. I don't think I could even make anything yet when I logged in.
Oh wow, it's crazy, and it's so bittersweet. You're like, oh, this feels so good. I hate this. This feels so good. I hate this. Like it's like such a catch-22. You feel really like it's reminiscent, the humbling feeling, you know. But then you miss the days where you're God and you can just kill everything in sight, and you know, it's so bittersweet.
Honestly.
Well, I know with that Carno, I don't know if it would be a tip or not, but when that Carno came after me, there was a Bronto near us. I ran and hid underneath that Bronto. That Carno came, and as soon as that Carno got next to me, and as soon as it bit me, I punched the Bronto in the leg and ran.
Oh my god!
And so the Bronto swung its tail, hit the Carno, and left me alone. I took off.
Oh god, that was so funny.
It is funny.
Oh my god!
That's a good tip.
You used to be able to, and it doesn't seem like so much anymore, although you can still do it with wyverns, is kite them to another dino, especially like a herbivore, if it's a carnivore chasing you. And a lot of times it used to be that they would always aggro on the herbivore, but I'm finding now that that's not always true.
Oh no,
that used to be like the trick that you used.
No, that Carno came after me, even after it ran underneath that Bronto after me. It never even stopped at the Bronto. That's why I had to run back over and punch the Bronto in the leg.
That could see.
That's funny. Very creative. I like it.
I think
right. I'll go for it. Yeah, I remember you had something you wanted.
Oh yeah, no, it was back to the thatch hut thing. It was like the first time I was ever on Aberration. Like there was this. Okay, so basilisks are obviously absurd, right? So I literally had one that just killed all of my dinos and then sat in my house for days, literally days, and did not move. And I was because you know how it burrows itself like in the ground, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel like not even like metal would save me from that. Because they're awful and evil. It just made me think of it when you were like thatch hut. I was like, oh my god. Yeah.
They are terrifying. All right, what do we have next? Let me see. Alpha tip. No, I don't think I have one. I never do. Gosh, I gotta get on that.
Okay, I've got an alpha tip. And this is this kind of came out of the woodwork for me because Dubaii had mentioned that there was a server out there that had Extinction Core and Primal Fear on it. And so I thought, you know, generally speaking, putting two mono dinos on the same server is usually not that great of an idea. So it kind of piqued my curiosity. Plus, I just love Extinction Core to death.
Right.
And Primal Fear is something similar to Extinction Core. Has tiered dinos and a lot of the same elements. So my tip is, don't use turrets, plant species X, or spiked walls around your base, because the last thing you want to do is aggro badass dino that can rip apart your base or rip your base to shreds. Back when we were playing Extinction Core playing on our Extinction Core cluster, my best advice to those folks new to Extinction Core was to build 4 high walls and keep you out of the sight of the wild dinos. So basically line of sight them. And trying a lot of things, and that really works. You just 4 high walls, and even though you might get something beat on your walls every once in a while, usually that's when you get, like, when your tame's too close or you're standing too close and something shows up, it'll start beating on your wall. But for the most part, if you keep your walls at a fair distance from your building, and they're at least 4 high, you're generally pretty good. Usually, and I put this in alpha tip because mods like Extinction Core or Primal Fear, even though you can do them as a newbie, it's just a little bit more difficulty with dinos. A lot more difficult. So, people in our group have done it. We and any of us that were there playing on the server for a while, we help them out and try to give them the best advice we could. But and I don't want to say I wouldn't recommend it, because I just love mods like that. But because to me it's just so fun. But they're really set up for more experienced player. Anyway, that's why I stuck it in alpha tips.
I agree with that too, and because I know the difference between when you guys and when I would play was you guys would keep up on the patch notes from the dev, of that mod, because they were constantly changing stuff, rebalancing stuff, adding stuff, because they're working on it. So if that's not something that you really like to do, you might want to if you play with one of these mods, is just keep very informed on everything that they change with it, because sometimes it can be very drastic and you wouldn't even know. So if you're not that type of person, you might run into some unnecessary
aggravation
problems. Because you don't know what's going on because they changed something, and it's already a big puzzle to kind of piece together too, because all you have to really go off from is what that mod creator has available. So
right. Yeah. And the slightest little change can have a really, really big effect on gameplay. So, which is why we kept tabs on the patch notes. I mean, like when we first started playing, what we didn't know, you get out there, you go build your, find your ascendant weapon, and you're the king of the jungle or whatever. If you do that on Extinction Core, you might kill the regular dinos, which are nerfed, by the way. But if you shoot an alpha or a chieftain or something like that, he's going to, oh, really? We'll just see about that. I had a metal base.
Whistle multiple unending dinosaurs from
the sky.
That was a surprise.
I had this base on the island server, and it was all metal, and I had my tames out, and I had some walls up, and I had just stacks and stacks of turrets. They were everywhere. And I thought, well, I want to see how bad these chieftains really are. I mean, if he gets close to my base, my turrets are just going to shred him to bits. I mean, I had a lot of turrets, okay? And we weren't playing PvP. It was a PvE server, and I had, turret towers. I mean, I could put a turret tower to shame. So I literally drugged the chieftain into my base thinking that this is going to be pretty much a cakewalk because I've got all these turrets, and all I did was piss him off. He literally tore my metal base to bits and killed all but one of my dinos and me several times.
Damn.
I finally, after, and there was a couple of, I can't remember, it was Tuxedo, and somebody, it was Kirkanos and Tuxedo were watching me. And they're like, wait, why are you dragging him into your base? I'm like, nah, I got turrets.
And you're like,
And
maybe I bit off more than I can chew.
Yeah. And finally I'm like, well, I guess after now that my base is destroyed and all of my dinos are dead, cheat kill.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, it can be much. I feel like it definitely was a very OP mod, in that sense, because I feel like when you kill a tribe person's dino, they should be able to whistle a new dino and it just drop from the nether, like it would just drop from the sky, and you'd be like, yes, I killed their dino, and then they're like, and then like all of a sudden, another bigger, larger, evil dino would drop from the sky, and you kill that one, and they're like. And then like another one would come, and you're like, "What the hell?" Like,
that's exactly right.
Oh my god!
It was lethal. But then I was telling Air last night that or the other night when we were the group was talking about that mod, but I thought the funny thing was they at least give you the option to put that wig on so that you can mimic one of that. Like, so if you're walking by the orange tribe, you can throw on the orange tribe wig headdress or whatever, and like try to blend in, like, hey, I'm one of you guys. But if you were wearing an orange tribe wig in front of a non-orange tribe person, that obviously you're a goner. They'll just whistle unlimited dinosaurs and kill you. It was horrible.
And one of the interesting things that it took a little bit to figure out in the beginning was that some things only can die from melee damage. You can have the biggest gun in Ark,
Holy
and
crap.
it wouldn't do anything.
I had no idea that was
Yeah.
Yeah, I just resulted to living in a boat with that mod because I built by the damn brood mothers where they were like, I couldn't leave my. He said he's gotta go. Oh, you gotta go when? In like 30 minutes?
Yeah, I got about 30.
All right, let's speed it up. Yeah, I couldn't go out my back door or my front door because I had like 3 brood mothers in all of my yards. So
Jesus.
Yeah, so that sucked. But Mr. Blue's got to get up and go to work in the morning. So we're going to move on to our next. I lost my place. Bear
You're
with
at
me
the
while I'm.
enrage?
Are
Yes.
we enraged? Oh,
Yes.
we are. Well, here we go.
Okay, just gotta do this one thing and I'll be done. What do you mean I can't do it? It's not letting me do it? I just want to do this one thing. Man, this stuff stresses me out.
All right, enraged. Oh, that's me. I already talked about a lot of this, so I won't even spend too much time. But I just said I am enraged. Urgh! I feel like there are some unbaked things that I feel Wildcard needs to get to work on. 2 shows ago, we talked about all the new codes of conduct. I said that they should have reiterated them at the release and not like 4 or 5 months in. And after talking about it with the others, I do think that they need to link them from the login screen, or now in hindsight also, since we were talking about earlier, I kind of like Goon's idea where when you log into the game, they should have did like a push thing where in order to even log in the next time, you had to agree to these, codes of conduct, and you had to click accept and just be done with it. Like they should do something like that. Because I feel like they're doing like a very passive aggressively, and I'm not a fan of passive aggressive. I'm like, shit or get off the pot. So, I feel like it's just not very professional how they're going about this. Also, yeah, and we all are wondering, like, where's Structures Plus and all the other supported Arc mod program at when it comes to, like, implementing these mods that have been around now for quite a while in this mod program, with Arc, like Survivals Plus and stuff. When are they going to be implemented? I have not heard a word. Like, I'm hoping that with the addition of Zen Row, that maybe that's going to be a thing. Let's hope. So, and I know that console players are kind of like, yeah, we would like some mod options too, so I just feel like if it's not like they should do a little bit more communication on that. Like, hey, this is what our intent is or was, and this is where we're at on that. So I just feel like they have a lot of things they should probably maybe communicate or work on that. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
enraged.
update that when they talk about adding new mods.
Yeah.
They just recently announced that they added new mods.
Yeah.
So, I mean, why not update where things are at, you know?
Right, yeah, and before they announce when stuff comes in, but they don't announce when stuff goes out, and that's where Zen was like, well, you know, it's not really my place to be like, this is why this person pulled out, or this is why, you know, and that can get a little catty back and forth, and why even mess with that, but at least maybe give some updates on, we have a lot of these awesome mod creators, and this is where we're at, and maybe implementing, or we're not even close to implementing, like give us something, some information would be nice, so...
I agree.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
Or at least how you plan on implementing.
Yeah, or how. Good point, Blue.
On the thoughts of doing mods on console, like specifically with the PlayStation, I know they're going to come into a real hurdle with that because it was the same thing that we experienced with Fallout 4, where Sony said, okay, you can do mods, but you can't have external assets, which means anything that's not already in the game, you're not going to be able to use, and that includes new scripting. And I'm pretty sure, like with Structures Plus, that some of that had to be re-scripted in order to make it work the way that it does. And so with the PlayStation, they're going to see a lot of problems with that because Sony's real tight on external assets. They don't want to allow anything new in there.
Wow. Well, we got to get you on the modded server where that fell owns, because you will just go then part of me doesn't want to right now because you'll never come back.
Right, honestly.
Until you get your fill. It's fun.
Mods are awesome.
I'll bounce back and forth, I'm sure. Just
that's
like
what we all do.
Yeah.
Once you get Pokeballs, you never turn back.
Yeah, Pokemon balls are delicious. Kind of like this faux science segment. Here we go. Falloon.
Just kidding.
Are you there, Falloon? Are you there?
It'd help if I push the button.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Or should we throw Blue up front, just in case you run out of time? We'll throw
it works
Blue
better
up
when you turn it on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw Blue up front.
Let's go ahead and do it first.
Let's do you first, Blue.
So we've been messing around still on that RP server with the fellow CRR crew. We decided last weekend, right, to go out on that canoe trip.
Yes. Yeah.
And so we spent some time setting up. We made some tents with the camping mod, and we had some sleeping bags and some campfires. And right before we decided to take off, we ended up in a windstorm. And so we set up a little mini camp at where we were kind of basing up at. And I tried to put 3 log benches and a fireplace inside of a large tent. Now, I just want to say this, to be clear. These large tents aren't very big. And I tried to jump off this log that I was sitting on to place another log, and I ended up stuck inside the tent, and it was just trying to throw me all over hell. It was kind of funny. It was funny. But anyway, we got that all situated. And then we decided to finally take off in our canoes. It was me, Esme, and Goon. And we take off. I believe we got, about an hour into the canoe trip? We didn't make it very far, right?
Yeah, not very. Like, we went up the butt crack on Ragnarok.
Oh, you took a screenshot. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I took a screenshot of you guys.
And I gotta give Goon props. He tamed all of us a beautiful jerboa to take with us on our trip.
It was so cool.
We got into this river that we were exploring, and we got the server message that they were shutting down again. So we ended up having to scramble, make a quick camp, and log off before the server went down on us out in the open. But it was fun. We got to see a lot of cool stuff. It's beautiful on those canoes, just the detail and the environment that you get to see.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
I agree. It was a lot of fun. And we kind of took a little side break because of announcements and stuff that I'll talk about later. But we did have a lot of fun because it's neat. It's a bummer though that they reset that server so many times. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah, it seems like it's like 2 to 3 times a day. It's so annoying.
And we're like, they always seem to be restarting it. And I'm like, I've never. And like ever have to restart a server as many times as these people do. It's like nuts. But it is cool. I definitely love that, the eco camping mod, because it is so cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
It was. And we were flying around on the Tapahara, and I didn't know that, like, because all three of us would fit on it, and we didn't know, like, who was driving, and I thought I was driving, but you were driving, and I'm like, why is this Tapahara doing weird shit that I'm not making it do? And it was because Blue was driving.
I felt so bad because I was trying to kill stuff with the Tapahara, because I think its damage was at, like, 1,000.
Yeah.
And whatever I kept attacking kept eating Goon and Esme. I killed them like 3 times.
I forgot. We
That's
were always
awesome.
dying.
What I didn't understand is I was in the back,
Yeah.
Blue in the middle, and Esme up front, and somehow I killed her.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he was trying to stab something and he ended up stabbing her.
We had way too much fun that night. So we ended up on that there's that little kind of fork in the butt crack of the Ragnarok Desert, where there's just this little elevated island of land. So we were going to set up camp there. So that's where we're at right now in our storyline, where we are going to set up like a little RP kind of business right in between the PvP zone and the non-PvP zone. So we'll see.
So I got a DM from a random player on that server.
Did you?
Apparently, the Giga waltzed on over to our little island and ate the wyvern, and the dude managed to save the tappy.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I haven't been back on the server since we logged out.
Wandered over there. Okay. That was nice and that they got a hold of you to let you know. Interesting.
Wandered over in the middle of a river.
The river, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah,
that's kind of odd because Gigas don't swim.
Yeah.
Did they get the Tarpahara too?
The Tappa survived. It's still out there somewhere.
All right. Well, hey, update. There we go.
Unlike, I don't know. Have you guys even been back on there?
Not since this, what we were talking about, what I was going to talk about later, was our new fresh start that we are doing on the, one of the fresh start, official servers. So I haven't.
Gotcha. I'm still logged out in the camping.
Well,
we're still camping in our camping. Maybe we might be dead. You never know. Because I doubt those little camping tents are going to hold up against the Giga. I know they're not. We might be goners over there.
well, I am thankful. I think it was Cricket who got Philo.
Yeah.
He tamed a Philo. We found it in a little square hut. That saved our butt a couple of times.
Yeah, that did save our butt. That is for sure. Good adventures. Fun times. That's awesome. All right, Mr. Falloon. You have a faux science.
Yeah, so a little update on where I'm at with my faux science, and then an addition. Like I said earlier, Dubaii pointed out a server with Extinction Core and Primal Fear. So, since I'm a glutton for punishment and a sucker for badass dinos, I couldn't pass up an opportunity to see how well the two mods worked with one another. And I think the wild dino level cap is like 1,000.
1,500 or something.
What's that?
It's like 1,500, I think.
Okay, so it's up there.
Players 800, dinos 1,500, yeah.
And so I mean, the dinos just aren't, baddies. They're baddies on steroids, and plus there's 2 dino mods together that are similar the way they function. But the other thing is, I've taken a lot of interest in some of these other mods that they are using as well. And that could possibly, if the group likes them, they could end up on our servers. One of them is more along the lines that could help the person who admins the server, which is probably more than likely going to end up on the cluster. I just thought it was a really cool thing. And what it's called is Editable Server UI. And it was created by Don Camillo. It's basically an informational mod for the server. You can place web links in it, server rules, server setup, any other information that might be relevant.
The stuff I think that Wildcard should have done a very long time ago.
Yes. And, the reason I thought this would be cool is because, we post links on our website for, how the server was set up, or we might put it in Discord and pin it. But this is right at the touch of your fingertips. You press F1 and boom, you've got it right in front of your face.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, really, really cool. I thought that's
Get on
awesome.
that stuff, wild card. What the hell? Like, come
Yes.
on. Kick your game up.
they got some other ones right now. I've been playing around with this mod called So Lost. And what it is, it adds a refrigerator, a jerky bin, a cooker, a meat spoiler, this little gizmo called, let's see, what is it called? A water bore. And what that is it's kind of like a, like your water inlet, the thing that you stick in the water for your water pipes. And you can put this thing anywhere. What they say, I think, in their description is, have you ever been in a tree house and wanted water?
Yes.
Yes. And so you take this thing and you just plant it right in a foundation wherever you want. One of them I planted in a stone railing and then put a tap on it, and there I have water. It's the neatest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
That is amazing.
No pipes running everywhere. It's just really cool. So I don't know. That's another cool mod. Let's see. Also, moving on to my PS4 stuff. I took a hiatus from that when we were on Primitive Plus because I really like Primitive Plus. And then all of a sudden Pixar comes out and I wanted that. I really enjoyed that. So I was doing that for quite a while. But now I'm back into PS4. And Oman and I are working towards downing the Ragnarok bosses on Yogi's server. And what's one thing I think is really cool, he invited me to join him on official PvP to take a run at the boss fight there. And I'm really looking forward to that. It's a lot more teamwork on official. We all know this.
Yes, definitely.
And, I'm used to, I'll just, because our rates are so high and things like that, I'll just go farm up what I need. It might take me a week or whatever by myself and then just go in there and do it. Raising my dinos, that might take a week, too, whatever, if you're lucky. Just go in there and do it and get it done. And so this, it's going to taste a little sweeter, I think. Doing it on official.
There's something to be said about working for the reward,
Yes.
And it's, it just has a different value to it than when you're doing it accelerated, in my opinion.
And then, the last thing is everybody's on the Fresh Start server. I really want to do that too. It just seems like there's so much to do.
So many things.
I'm like a kid in a candy store.
Right. That's it. That is so true. The bane of our existence. Yeah.
You mentioned
that's why we're a
Yogi's
gaming group.
PlayStation server. I still can't join his server for some reason.
Oh, that's weird.
So weird. It is weird.
There's other people that have been joining here lately, and it's still a really low population, but it's, I don't know.
I think it's just connection issues between me and him, because every time I look at it, it shows the ping is maxed out on it. So it's just
that's really weird,
network routing between me and him that's causing issues, and it happens.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It'd be cool to have you there.
No, it wouldn't. It's really good that he's on the PC now, and that's where he should
it
be
is
right
good.
now.
Very true. Very true.
I was being a little selfish there because I like people to give me all the tips on PS4.
I'm being selfish as well. No, you don't.
The thing about it though, Phil, is as far as that goes, if there's anything PS4 related on there that you're curious about, all you gotta do is ask. I'll tell you anything you want to know.
That's cool. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And if I don't know it, I can find it out.
Better yet. And that's, what I like to do is, it doesn't bother me to do my homework and spend a little time on that. But there are things that, there might be a day when I'm tired or I just can't find what I'm looking for.
Right.
And at that point, then, I absolutely go and start asking people for help.
Because you just don't have, you're like, I just can't do this today.
Right.
I don't feel, exactly.
And instead of making friends in global, I just go ask someone.
Yep. air quotations, friends in global. Because we'd always pick on him. We're like, oh, we could tell Falloon's had a rough day. He's making friends in global.
I don't want to be your friend. Go away.
Oh, yeah. The very loose terminology when we refer to
that's what the sign outside my hut says is I don't want to be your friend in quotations. Go away.
Yeah, because you said like, that
I had like 3 visitors today that come up. One of them was like just like hopping around and being dumb. And then the other guy comes up and he's all like with the mic. He's like, "Hey man, can I be your friend? You want to tribe up?" And he's like, "All you have to do is hold down the E key." And I'm like, I just keyed up and I'm like, "I don't want to be your friend. Go away."
Oh my god.
That's hilarious.
Can relate.
Well, that kind of goes into what my full science was, is just that we have because we like to keep our CRR RatedArk kind of group with our like 1 foot in official. So we are humbled and we know what's going on, and we have a feel we don't want to stay locked in our little ivory towers with our high rates and our cushiony mods, and like totally be out of touch with the rest of the community. But there's no way in hell you'll catch us rocking it out hardcore 24/7 in PvP, because ain't nobody got time for that.
What do you mean, man? We the bus. We taking over.
Nope. I don't have the mental capacity.
I think Snail Games would just be in that other tribe and we would get banned.
Yeah, we would just get banned. Just because they'll be like, oh, those are those mofos of RatedArk. Let's take them down. Banned! Banned because we don't like your name, Esme. Banned! Banned because your parasaur looked at me funny, Falloon. Banned! Like, it would just be bad.
You got too many E's in your name.
Exactly. Too many E's in your name.
You're exploiting that E.
Yeah, you E-exploiter. Oh, so we digress. Oh, so yeah, we're trying out the fresh servers with the CRR RatedArk gang, and a shout out to our current tribees. We have Clev and Johnny Ranch and Goon and Foe, but Foe's kind of temperamental. You know Foe. His computer right now is giving him the middle finger, like, no, I want you to play World of Warcraft. Every time you try to log into Ark, I'm gonna kick your ass out of Ark. Literally, this dude is just beating his head against the Ark wall. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. It's like every time we thought it was just the RP server, so he's like, I ain't playing this stupid server anymore. And then he tried, and it's not like he's just saying he's trying, like he's really putting forth the effort to make it happen. And it's just like every time he turns around, some crazy stuff happens. It's just kicking him out. He validated his files. He had already removed Ark and put it back on. It's just kicking in. We thought it was his graphics card. It's just been a hot mess. But hey, shout out Fo for trying. You get a participation award. We have Air Dubaii. Welcome, Air Dubaii. And Dr. Ob so far. And Emma's kind of like in her own tribe, like hanging off. We feel like she likes us, but not enough to tribe up with us. She kind of likes her little boat life. And we don't mind her boat either, because we use it to, aggro dangerous
offline raid
too.
protection.
Yeah, because offline raid protection. Eric Dubaii and I had some adventures this week on that too.
Oh,
he
yes.
has been very, like, Goon and I, our first night, Goon was talking about, like, our first night there, we had to rebuild our base. How many times, Goon? It was really ridiculous.
It was like two and a half times.
Yeah, I think it was two.
I think that's why they call these the fresh servers, so that you can get a fresh start every day when it is.
It is a freaking fresh start. And I think what it is it's the fresh start. We should probably tell, they're not. You cannot download any dinos for like 60 some days, and then Air Dubaii was saying that they do have like a tentative July date for when they're going to turn around.
Whenever you log on, it says July 3rd or something like that.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, their welcome message is too damn long for me to even care about reading. By the time I'm like reading it, processing, it's like bloop, gone. I'm like, whatever. But but it's been fun because you are humbled. You find yourself going, what am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm doing it. This is fun because we always like working as a group and giving each other reports. Like so far, like every time we log in, we're either dead, we've been killed by some random dinosaur, which I don't understand because the ORP is on. I don't know how that's working. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're just randomly being killed. Like I logged into I'm dead. Who got killed by a Bronto?
Me? I got killed by a Bronto. How on earth did I was under the house and I got killed by a Bronto. How does that work?
This was angry. Bronto's like, "Where's that damn Air Dubaii at? I want to go."
Yeah, I swear to God that the admins must come on and like whistle dinos at us while we're not awake or something. Awful.
So crazy.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, we're gonna make
The new
YouTube
conspiracy.
videos now. Slow motion YouTube videos with X-Files soundtrack. We'll make like some Saturday Night Live version shit. Do-do-do-do. Air Dubai laying unconscious under the slow motion Bronto appears.
Snail games, they are out there.
Does a wink at the camera and then just chops him in half with his tail.
Right.
Yeah, it's been crazy. But it's also, it's neat and it's fun. Like our whole attraction with starting one of the fresh servers was, like I said, we like to keep our foot in the official, but it's nice to know that you're just breaking ground on the same playing field as everybody else, because it's shit when someone comes in and just dumps like vomits all of their bullshit from one server onto a nice clean server. So it's been cool. And we have had a lot of rando visitors. I had one guy yelling at me, "Can you effing kill me? I forgot to name my character." And I'm like, "This is PvE." And he's like, "Ow." And then I watched a dude get killed by a Troodon because I made like a deck around our house so we could see like what's going on around us, but not down on the ground. Like our house is kind of elevated up on pillars and foundations because the ground was so unlevel. Like it wasn't the best building spot. You know how it is when you throw down when you first start. You're like, throw down fast, need a place to log out, need a place to live. And then we just like organically build around that. And it's never very well planned. And Goon and I really didn't care. We just wanted to survive the first day, and it was pretty rough. But I watched this Troodon. This Troodon had chased me across the river, and I ran up into my house. And then it must have ran back like, oh shit, she ran into her house. So then it like ran away. And then it must have latched onto some other rando. And all of a sudden, they're like knocking at the door and going, hey, let me in. And then all of a sudden, I see this Troodon running at him. And it just eats him. Like knocked him out. And just he was gone, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not letting you in." So we've had a lot of just random, like Johnny was saying, he just has random people wanting to be his friend. Yeah, it's been fun. It's not a lot of people on the server right now, so if you want to get on the fresh server action, I think there's probably been at the most I've seen like 20 out of 70 slots. So it's nice. There's still a lot.
It's at 31 right now.
To spread out. What's that, Johnny?
It's at 31 right now. I'm looking at
31.
it.
Well, because it's the first weekend, and people probably think there's a boost, but it's not. You don't get it for another 5 days. So.
Yeah.
Dirty dogs. That's why I was so mad. I'm like, they're gonna offer us these fresh servers, but no boosts for us. So.
But alas.
So we were building on our old stomping grounds, the Angry Beaver Island. So it's good because you're by like a lot of the cementing paste and stuff. We don't have to go far.
It sounds like it's the Angry Therizino Island.
It is
now.
the Angry everything. It's condos one day. It was an Alpha Raptor yesterday. Today it was Therizinos and Troodons. It's been some shit. That's all. And I think because the server is so fresh and new, and there's not like a bunch of no-lifers with 900 dinosaurs. That there's actually a shit ton of dinosaurs out there trying to hunt you down and eat you. It's like the Dino Cap isn't even, not even near, not even close. It's not affecting that at all.
You mentioned the Alpha Raptor. This true story. I can't make this shit up. I log in and I hear a raptor outside attacking something. I'm like, oh, that's a raptor. I'll look. I open the door and look, and I see the red glow around this raptor. I was like, nope, that's an Alpha. Backed up, shut the door, and just logged back off.
For very good reason.
For good reason, man. That's like Air Dubai and I, we thought, because we knew that it was only a matter of time before this 130 Carno and this Therizino came at our base the other night. So he went and ammoed up, got the arrows and crossbow and everything, and I gave him all my stuff. I was like, you go. And I took all my stuff off, so I was like the bait and he was the closer, and so took us forever to get the freaking Carno. Who's like, I want to eat you. Oh, there's a flower. Like it was constantly getting sidetracked. But finally, we got him over to this boat. And later on, we didn't know we were using this boat the whole time to take out these dinos. And we didn't know that it was Emma from our gaming group's boat.
Right.
And I'm looking at the name and it says Emma. And like personal owner Emma. And I'm like, well,
sounds so familiar.
That's a mighty fine coincidence right there. It ended up being her boat, but ORP, and that's why we used it. We're like, it's not going to affect the boat. It's going to get us to aggro this dinosaur away from our base. So, and then the Therizino too. That sucker, dude. That Therizino.
Oh my God. He was a douche.
He was like, it felt like
Mighty
he had
douche.
It felt like he had thoughts, didn't it? It felt like the Carno was really an airhead, but this Therizino almost seemed like he was going to try to find a way up that ramp after you, like that.
Oh yeah. The Carno was a dumbass.
I think his brother was visiting me today. That's the one that ate my house.
Yeah, they're like the professional hair cutters of because they're like, oh, a little bit off this, a little bit off there, oh, a little bit, oh, this is uneven, oh, and then sooner or later you just have no house.
Oh my God.
Therazinos
are so scary.
God, they are, and they run like crazy. They look terrifying.
I see one every time one runs at me, I scream.
It looks like a cross between a T-Rex and an ostrich.
Yeah, they just charge like nobody's business. They're terrifying. Terrified. All right, I think it's time for last call. Blue already had to cut out. He has to go to work early. So we're going to rock out last call. So think about shout outs if you got anything that you want to say, because I'm playing the intro right now.
It's closing time. Pack up all those dinos and head out into the real world. It's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can stay here. I don't want to have to log right now. I don't want you to have to log right now. But it's closing time. The rated R is ready to pull the plug.
All right. Did you have something you forgot to mention during the show? Say it now or wait a week.
I got a quick one.
Yes.
I just wanted to thank O-Man and his wife, Tina Tyrant, for the warm welcome into their tribe on Official. They gave me or O-Man did, he gave me a tour of their base, and it just blows my mind to see a big metal base on Official. It's just, I couldn't imagine doing that on Official. It's just incredible. But anyway, I just appreciate the warm welcome. Thank you.
That is cool. And no, we're not telling you where they are, you dirty bastards.
I have a little quick one too. I want to give a shout out to a particular CRR Gaming member who was nice enough to gift me a copy of ARK so I didn't have to go out and buy it. That was really cool. And I can't thank you enough. So thank you very much for the little gift there. That was awesome.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
I don't want to say who it was because I don't know if they want anybody to know. So
yeah,
I mean,
so thank you, Secret Santa. Thank you.
CR members have a way of doing things like that.
I know, right? I wasn't going to be able to play Pixark, and then my Secret Santa goon, he got me back. He's not secret, but I joined a Secret Goon contest, and I won. So thank you. Good friends, good times.
Wait, was the contest the secret or was Goon the secret?
All of it. All of the above. All made strong enough for a man, but made for a woman. Secret, right? All right. So,
hey, that's what I used to. I used to say that to people, to guys who used to hit on me.
Aww. Used to? You mean they stopped? What the hell? What the hell? They should just keep hitting on you.
I know.
All right. CrossRoundRebellion.com if you want to join us at the games we play or the podcast we record. Go to CrossRoundRebellion.com and our gaming group calendar. I added that in the show notes. We are going to be trying every Saturday now. I've scheduled free-to-play nights. So it is lots of fun and no money involved unless you want to. But all the games that we play every other Saturday, we're rotating it with our D&D nights that Foe hosts. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, we're going to be doing Brink tomorrow. And yeah, so that's what we're doing. It's a great way to start out Cinco de Mayo, playing some unknown game I've never played before named Brink. So we do that at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every other Saturday. Is everybody done? Is everybody done? All right,
I'm done.
that is episode 10 of Rated Ark. Where is my outro? Where is Goon's outro? I think this is it.
You can reach the show by email at ratedark@gmail.com. You can tweet the show at ratedark on Twitter. You can grab our RSS feed, get our show notes, and apply to join us in-game at ratedark.podbean.com.